Yo, what's going on? What we at? Today, June 9th. Today is June 9th. Y'all seen the title? Y'all seen the title? Yeah, so we'll get straight into it. About an hour or two ago, probably about 2 hours ago now, the verdict came down for Karmelo Anthony in the murder case. He was charged for what I understand, he was charged for murder. Look at my dog. He was charged. He was charged for murder. Let me pull this up a little bit. Dog ain't showing so much. You can see his tail. But yeah, he was. So Karmelo Anthony was charged for murder. I think this. When did this case happen? So this isn't a case that I followed very hard. I was very much in tune with what was going on, but I didn't follow it, and there is a difference. So the incident took place, for what I'm seeing online, on April 2nd, 2025. For those who are unaware, I believe Karmelo Anthony is the alleged, well, I can't even call him alleged now. He's the one that got convicted today of murder. And he was said to have fatally stabbed Austin Metcalf, another 17. They both were 17 at the time, I think. And both of them ran track. Karmelo Anthony also played football. Karmelo Anthony defense essentially argued self-defense. But this was, what's annoying is that this trial didn't allow cameras in, and that's usually normal for a federal case. Federal cases generally don't allow cameras, but state cases do. So that was a little annoying that this is a state case and they wouldn't allow cameras in the trial. But some of the witnesses that were testifying were obviously going to be minors because this stabbing took place at a track meet. I'm not going to go through the whole history of that because that's not why we're here today. You guys can just look that up. But this took place during the track meet in 2025. I think, I'm not sure that Austin Metcalf or that Karmelo was competing, but if any of you guys ever been to any sporting events, any school sporting events, you understand that there's going to be a lot of people there that support the team, rather they're competing or not competing. Although I think both of them are scheduled to compete that day in some fashion of the track meet. It started drizzling at some point, and they had these makeshift, they were some tents set up outside because, if you've ever been to a track meet, they run track around the football field, so it's outside. And they have tents set up around bleachers for different teams to kind of gather under for a meeting place sometimes. Sometimes if it's too sunny, they'll have the tent out there for people to kind of be in a shaded area. And of course, if it rains, that's obviously helpful. Excuse me. So at some point, it started drizzling. I'm not sure that that's why Karmelo Anthony wandered off into or found himself in Austin Metcalf's tent. Well, it wasn't Austin Metcalf's tent, but it was the school tent. So I don't know what school they both were attending, but they were attending opposing schools. I do know that they were not at the same school. Karmelo Anthony went under the tent of an opposing school, which is kind of like going into a locker room of an opposing school. You don't do that. It's a lot of unwritten rules in sports. If you ever played it, that's one of the unwritten rules is a member from the opposing team doesn't just wander off into your locker room. I know times are different now, so there's different things that might be allowed than when I was coming up. And I never played organized sports, but I've been around it a lot. And I know that if you're on the opposing team, you can't just run into someone else's locker room. So I don't know what sparked the argument, but at some point it said that Austin Metcalf either asked or told, depending on what you ask. If you ask Austin Metcalf supporters, they're going to say he asked Karmelo Anthony to leave. And if you ask Karmelo supporters, they're going to say he was demanded that he leaves in such a rude way, I'm sure. So I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. A lot of the witnesses don't support that it was a demand, but more so of I wouldn't say a request either, but for what I've heard, because we couldn't hear the testimony. Remember, there was no cameras in the trial, so we can only go by what the court reporters say. And it said that a lot of the witnesses that testified, even for the defense, that the witnesses that the defense called, said that it started of a kind of like a petty boy argument, between two boys. And I think the story that I've read the most of that's constantly come up from different witnesses is that at some point when Karmelo was asked to leave or told to leave, Karmelo said he essentially decided he wasn't going to leave. And I guess it got more heated at that point. And then, hey, could you fill this up for me, please? Not all the way, just a little bit. Not all the way though. Just about 75% of the way, please. And then bring me a red and a green airhead. But yeah, so Austin told Karmelo to leave. Karmelo did not listen. Now get this too. It came out in the trial that Austin Metcalf is maybe 6'1", 6'2", somewhere around that. Austin Metcalf is like 6'1", 6'2", and Karmelo Anthony is they say he's about 5'8" or so. So that kind of plays a part as well. I imagine that will play some type of part in it. So in the self-defense case, sorry, I'm multitasking, but in the self-defense case, that's going to play a part, right? Like how big is the guy that you fatally, that you fatally ended? Let me say that. I know that YouTube, you can't say certain words. I'm not entirely sure what all I can say, so I got to be careful with what I say, but it just, I'm going to spare you the details. Either way, from what I understand, multiple witnesses say that Karmelo said pretty much make me leave, like challenged them, right? You say make me, that's a challenge. And it's funny because I'll get to the racism part in a second, but there's so much racism surrounding this case is actually wild. And what's disappointing is that there are so many black people perpetuating that racism. There's no green. Wow. There's so many black people. Look at my water. There's so many black people perpetuating that racism that it's frustrating, because then black people will say, well, black people can't be racist. And then it'll take some definition of racism by the dictionary. Thank you. Some definition of racism by the dictionary, and then say they can't be racist. Well, that's wild, because I just want to point out something. Well, actually, I'll get to that in a second. I want to get back to what happened. So Austin, Karmelo said, put your hands on me, or excuse me, make me, or something, from what a lot of the witnesses have said during the trial testimony. I don't know Austin Metcalf's response back to that, but I imagine it probably was something smart mouth. It's how a lot of guys are that age. I've gotten to quite a few fights. I've seen a whole lot of fights, and I know how it starts, and it escalates very easy between two men. I can't account for women because I'm not a woman. I can only account for how that happens in the context of sports, and just in the context of just being a dude. And things escalate really, really quick. A couple smart words are said, and we're ready to fight. So that's just what it is. So anyways, that happened. And at some point, someone says that Karmelo said, put your hands on me and see what happens. That's kind of been the prevailing narrative. Now, I've been hearing, it depends on who you ask, right? The witnesses on the stand are saying that, for what I hear, but I've heard a lot of black people on social media, on Black Twitter and so forth. And I have to categorize it as that because I'm literally only seeing black people say this. So I'm not trying to be racist. I'm just telling you what I've seen on my social media, on the different pages that I've seen. And even on random pages that I just look up, because I'm looking up the case just to kind of see what generally social media is saying about it. And black people are saying, oh, he got jumped by like 5 people. I don't know how true this is, because none of this, to my knowledge, none of this came out in trial. Maybe I'm wrong, but supposedly he got jumped by 5 people, including the twin brother. Everybody on the stand was lying, and they were all in cahoots. Okay. And supposedly that's what happened. But the guys are saying he was challenged by Karmelo and said, touch me and see what happens. They said that he kind of gave him a poke, and he said something like, again, I'm not quoting what he says. So nobody come on here and say murder line. He didn't watch the trial. The trial wasn't for anybody to watch. But from what I understand, he poked him. He essentially kind of poked at him like, I touched you. And he said, do it again or something. And then he shoved him, kind of gave him more of a shove at that point, from what I understand. But nothing that made him fall down, for what the witnesses are saying. But you gave him a firm shove, but nothing crazy. And at that point, supposedly, from what the witnesses say, Karmelo Anthony took out a knife, because he already had his hand in the bag, for what they say. Took his hand out the bag, took a 4-inch blade out, stabbed him with it one time in the chest, and ran out of there. That's what allegedly happened from multiple witnesses. Now, Black Twitter is saying something different. Black Facebook is saying something different. And again, I'm not trying to sound racist. I'm telling you what I'm reading, because I'm black and I see a lot of black people in there. And they're saying something completely different than that. They're saying they're hearing about jumpings and all those other things that can't be substantiated in trial at all, by the way. I'm over here arguing with people on on Facebook right now. It's funny. I'm not really, I wouldn't say arguing, but I'm saying truth, and they're saying stupid things, and then I got to troll them for that because I don't want to argue. Man, this water is good. So we're here to discuss, now we fast forward. The jury, this case has been heard for about 7-8 days now, 8-9 days, something like that. Somewhere between 7 and 9 days this case has went on. The jury got, today the jury was handed the case to decide the verdict, and in about 3 hours, they decided a unanimous guilty verdict, which I agree with based off what I have heard. I wasn't at the trial, so I don't really know what was said. I like to know, but I don't know what was said. But based off what I heard, from what the witnesses said, some of the key points of the testimonies, and I heard the defense barely put up a defense. he would be guilty according to the legal definition. Now, there's a lot going on. I can only talk about Black Twitter. On Black Twitter, Black Facebook, there's a lot going on. I'm trying to pull mine up now because there's been a lot of stupidity that I've been dealing with on Facebook, and I'm gonna try to read it real quick without having to share my screen. I prefer not to share the screen, but I will, I guess. We'll kind of go through some of what's going on, but yeah. So right now they decided guilty, and now the jury, in a strange twist, we might got to clip this, guys. We might got to clip this, but in a strange twist, the jury will be deciding what the actual sentence is, not the judge. Why, I don't know. It's weird. It's odd. But they will be deciding his verdict, and he can get anywhere from 5 to 99 years. That is a broad range. So he can get anywhere from 0 to from 5 to 99 years. Give me a second, guys. I'm doing something right now. Give me a second. Anyways, jury has the trial. We're going to look at some of what's going on and some of the reactions to the Karmelo Anthony trial and the verdict when it came out. We're going to look at some of the. I just want to see what's going on online and how they're acting out there down in Texas. I heard a lot. And I seen a little bit earlier when the verdict first came down, and I thought it was pure ignorance. So y'all bear with me real quick. We're going to share this real quick. Y'all can see the screen. Yep. All right, guys, we're going to share this real quick.
Stand by, Rich. Reaction now in the crowd. Xavier Walton is with us. I saw us right away when we learned of the verdict. We had the video up during commercial. I saw some crying. I hear some screaming. Tell us what it's like.
Yeah, Connell. So immediately once that verdict was read, a woman fell to her knees, overwhelmed with emotion. She began to cry. And
I fell down to my knees when the law came.
Walk over here, Austin. Watch your step. Come on, Austin. Come this way. And one thing I've heard multiple times since that verdict was read, these folks saying that's what you get when you have an all-white jury. Obviously, that's been talked about a lot. We know there was not a single black person,
an all-white jury,
being represented in that jury. So it looks like two gentlemen are yelling back and forth right now. There are children here.
Great example for the children.
Notice the gentleman in the cowboy hat. Law enforcement is here. But Connell, so much emotion, boiling. It is hot. Tensions obviously flaring up. And you see the crowd of cameras. You see the people walking that way, Connell. I can tell you there's a whole group of people that once that verdict was read, you could just see in their faces like they had been defeated. That was the look of defeat. That's what they had on their face as we just kind of walk with this crowd. I can tell you I've been here since jury selection, and there have been several Karmelo Anthony supporters that have been here since jury selection. And once that jury was selected, this is what they were worried about: being found guilty of murder, not manslaughter in this case, but murder. So as we kind of follow the crowd, something else to really point out, Connell, law enforcement, they are everywhere. I also asked one of these parents here that is with their children, with their child. I said, why bring a child here? And she told her son here, so that way he would know what it's like to advocate for your community.
Get out of the roadway, you're going to jail. Out of the roadway.
So Connell, you asked the question, what was it going to be like when the verdict was read? And here's the answer. You see, obviously, the animosity. And rightfully so, Connell.
Out of the roadway.
Notice law enforcement right here. That is from the beginning. We've said that. But yes, Connell, I'll send it back to you. You can take our live images. But I can tell you right now, law enforcement does have control of this. Dozens of people just heard the verdict. But obviously, for days now, this is what they've been waiting for. And it's for a lot of people here, I can tell you that. It's not the verdict they wanted to hear, but also keep in mind a family, the Metcalf family did lose someone. They lost a loved one, and that's what they've been saying too, because there have been Metcalf family supporters out here as well.
You know, it's sad because that's been the thing that's been lost in all of this, because this trial has been successfully hijacked by certain groups of people and has successfully made people either forget or not care about the fact that a teenager, a minor, lost his life. A minor lost his life, and no one seems to care. Well, certain groups of people don't seem to care. Now, I just wonder if Austin Metcalf had stabbed Karmelo Anthony, everybody, the same people right now that believe if all the circumstances were the exact same, except for the kid that did the stabbing was black, and the kid that got stabbed, the kid that did the stabbing was white, and the kid that got stabbed was black. I wonder what Black Twitter, Black Facebook, and Black America would be saying right now. Because right now they're saying it's a racist system, blah, blah, blah. But if a white guy stabbed a black kid with the exact same circumstances as this and beat the charge, they would call that racist as well. Would you not? I don't know. I'm just asking. Now, somebody's going to respond and say something like, white people have been doing that for the last 400 years. What you talking about? White people been killing black people for the last 400 years. Look at Trayvon Martin. Look at Eric Garner. Look at Jacob Blake. Look at George Floyd. That's what they're going to say. Listen. Black people have definitely been the victims of racist crimes since being in America for the last 400 plus years. Now the ancestors of those black people that were victims, so many of those ancestors, we're their ancestors, right? They're our ancestors, we're their ancestors. Now the black people, so many black people of today, not all, I wouldn't say most, but a great majority of black people are the perpetuators of racism. Black people can't be racist. Okay. What y'all like to say? Argue with your mama. That's what I got to say to you. A kid lost his life. White or black, he lost his life in a senseless argument about who needs to be under a tent. And a kid lost his life. And instead of mourning that, we're mourning the fact that another kid has his life and is going to jail for being a criminal, for being a murderer. I had something stupid happen. I'm going to tell you about something. So on Facebook, I commented on the page that had this verdict thing up. I made a comment. I'm going to tell you what my comment said. My comment said, rest in peace, Austin. They got justice for you, kid. First comment is a woman. Listen, y'all could be upset at me. First comment was a woman of color. And I'm going to tell you everything I said, too, because I'm not a liar. Well, I'm not going to tell you everything I said. But I'd rather just redact it. She commented in all caps. She said, STFU. That was the first comment. Rest in peace, Austin. They got justice for you, kid. Now, whether you agree with that statement or not, I didn't say anything rude. I didn't say that's what you get, Trey. What's the boy's name? That's what you get, Karmelo. Ha ha. Rotten hell, blah, blah. I didn't say anything like that. I just said, rest in peace, Austin. They got justice for you, kid. Was black people not saying something similar when George Floyd got killed? Okay. So she said STFU. Why is she so violent and angry? I don't know. In America, men don't hit women. And I agree with that. Men shouldn't hit women. I agree with that. I also agree that women should talk to men like they have a lot of respect. And I agree that men should talk to women like they have a lot of respect. Both parties should do that. And I believe if anybody violates respect in a mutually equal country, it should be met with whatever you want to meet it with, because we're all equal. It doesn't really matter what your gender is. I'm just joking, guys. I want to be funny. I want to make some laughs here. But I will say this. If I saw Brock Lesnar or Bobby Lashley on the street and they were saying something out in public that I didn't like, they weren't even talking to me. They were just talking out in public. I wouldn't go up to him and say, shut the F up. I wouldn't say that to Bobby Lashley. I wouldn't say it to Brock Lesnar. I wouldn't say it to Mike Tyson. I wouldn't go up and say it to anybody, first of all, because I don't do that. But if I was an idiot, I wouldn't go up to one of those guys and tell them to shut the F up because I don't like what they're saying. They're not even talking to me. Why wouldn't I do that? Why? Because I know they have the ability to break me in half. Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, Mike Tyson, any of those guys, they have the ability to crush my living flesh. Now, we protect women in America, as we should. I'm just going to say this. With all that protection, with great, what is it called? With great, whatever, great responsibility comes great, whatever, I don't know. With great power comes great responsibility. Thank you, son. And I think women have a lot of power in America. And I think they're rashly irresponsible with it, because if I was on the street saying, rest in peace, Austin, they got justice for you. If I was on the street saying that, and this woman or any woman saw me saying that, and nobody was around, and there was no laws protecting them, I don't think she'd come to my face and tell me to shut the F up. I just don't. Not that I would hit her, because I wouldn't. I'd probably say to her something rude back to her. I wouldn't hit her. I'd wait for her to hit me, or anybody for that matter. I'd wait for him to try to hit me. I wouldn't even let him hit me, but I'd wait for someone to try to hit me if they got upset about something I said, and then I would defend myself. Regardless of who it is, I would defend myself, but I wouldn't go starting a fight with somebody. That includes a woman. I wouldn't go start a fight with anybody. I don't do that. I mind my business. But anyway, back to this. Rest in peace, Austin. They got justice for you. I ain't say nothing crazy. She says STFU. So me in trolling fashion, I say you, and I'll just spell it the same. She put out acronym. You STFU, dumb hoe. And I said, what are you going to do? Essentially, I'm paraphrasing. But I'm not going to lie. I did say you, and then I put STFU. I just used her acronym, dumb hoe. And I put laughing faces. And then I said, what are you going to do about it? I did. And then she responded back. I want you to hear how dumb this bimbo is. She said he should have kept his hands to himself. It's no rules when it comes to defending yourself. You know how ignorantly stupid that is? It's such a stupid comment. You're mad that he got found guilty for exercising no rules. Okay. Again, I repeat. She said he should have kept talking about Austin. He should have kept his hands to himself. There's no rules when it comes to defending yourself. I said, on the streets, there are no rules. I couldn't agree more. That's how I was raised. But the laws that govern the place we live in say something different. And according to the court of law that we have to listen to, you can't stab and kill someone for pushing you. You can't. You or anyone else can be racially mad at that, but it's the facts. Facts are by law. He's guilty, no matter how anyone feels about it. By your logic, would you like Chud the Builder to walk free for shooting the black guy down? You want Chud to beat the case? And I asked her that, right? Her response, he should have kept his hands to himself. Simple. Keep your hands to yourself. So then my response to her was, all feelings, no logic, hella stupid. I'm done with this one, guys. Next, please. And I have a door emoji. I'm not going to respond back to her because she's an idiot. She said, I have plenty of knowledge. Like TF. So like the F, I said, this is a very ratchet, dumb hoe. Literally. It's literally a very ratchet, dumb hoe with zero respect. And she can afford to talk to people like she's crazy because society and the laws protect her, right? Society and the laws protect her. So she can just talk stupid to somebody that, never mind. So she said, I have plenty of knowledge. Like the F I said, he should have kept his hands to himself. Had it been the other way around, they would have been yelling self-defense. Oh, brother. Hush. Oh, brother. Okay. So that's all it was, man. Holy crap. I'm just reading in this comment section. It's so stupid. We're gonna go through some of these comments, guys. We're gonna go through some of these comments. Give me a second. I think we're gonna go through some of these comments. I just want y'all to see some of the stupidity that I'm looking at right now. Let's see here. Sorry, guys, I'm about to share the screen. We're gonna share this page here. All right, guys. Oh, sorry, I didn't minimize this. Let's read some of these Facebook comments. I can't zoom in, unfortunately. I wish I could zoom in, but I don't know how to zoom in. Well, I don't think I can, but I want to read some of these Facebook comments. Let's see. He should have. The length of deliberation tells you everything you need to know. 2 hours and 51 minutes. Yep, guilty as heck. Yeah, he's guilty as whatever. Pretty open and shut case. There's a lot of people agreeing to this guy's comment. He should have considered Newton's third law of motion instead of emotion. I agree with that. Yeah, he had the opportunity to leave and destroy 2 lives and families. So this looks like a white guy. So to be honest, now black guy's the one that made this comment, and I applaud him because I don't see a lot of black people saying things that I believe to be objective. They just seem to be going straight by race. So the black folks that do step up and can objectively see this, I really do respect. And it's not. Listen, it's not that, bro. If the stabber was white and the victim was black, and the facts were how they are right now, I'd be saying the same thing. Like literally, I don't. It's not that I want, like, first of all, the white guy's dead. I don't know what are we missing. The white guy loses regardless. The black guy, even if he gets 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years in jail, he still has his life and his family can still access him. There's a guy that's been cut off from his family. Any other time, that's sad for y'all, except for when the victim is white and the perpetrator is black. That's absolutely asinine. That's literally asinine. It's stupid. Let's go through these comments. So black guy said he should have considered Newton's. So these other words saying this kid, Karmelo, should have controlled his emotions. White guy says pretty much agrees. Someone says, so sad that people are still fixated on the jury being fixed and that he was only convicted because he didn't have a black jury. Well, I agree with that. I do agree he was only convicted because if he had anybody black on the jury, it'd be a mistrial, hung jury. Because that black guy or woman, under no circumstances, from the ones they selected initially, selected, they already made it clear I'd have a hard time putting someone of color in jail over this. Now, if the alleged attacker was black and the victim was black, then you could have black jurors because it wouldn't be racially motivated. Well, even though the crime, I don't think Karmelo stabbed a guy because he's white. I don't think Karmelo Anthony is racist. I don't think anything about this was racist. I really don't. Because if that's the case, I'd have to say, well, the guy that stabbed the other guy is the racist, right? Because that's what we'd say if a white guy stabbed. That's what we say every time a cop does that to a black person or like any black person. First thing we say is racist. No matter what the facts say, we say, well, it was a white guy that did the crime on a black guy, so he's racist. So why the heck can we not jump to the same side now and say, well, black guys want to stab the white guy, so it's racism? I don't even believe that. I don't believe this black kid stabbed the white kid because he's racist. No, I believe he probably was too afraid to fight, got in over his head, running his mouth, kept writing a check his butt couldn't cash, like I see so many times. And instead of, and if he had a gun, he probably would have shot him, but he's at a school event, so he probably just couldn't easily bring a gun in there. But if he had a gun, he probably would have shot the guy because he's too cowardly to fight. And instead of doing that, he stabs. It's cowardly. And the only thing that we can look at in a lot of Black America, not all, in a lot of Black America is, man, free Karmelo Anthony. Most of y'all saying that don't even know the case, haven't followed the case, haven't looked on the case, haven't looked at what the witnesses said, nothing. And even if you do, you see what the witness said, you go, well, that's fixed. That's fixed witnesses. They lied. How would you know? Have you talked to any of the witnesses? I just want to know. All y'all saying the witnesses lied. Have y'all talked to any of the witnesses yourselves to know? Or anybody else that was a witness that was there but didn't get called up to the stand to be a witness, to testify? Have y'all talked to any of them? No, you just believe a narrative. So if I believe the other narrative, well, if I'm stupid, so are you, because you stupidly believe a narrative that wasn't even testified to in trial, fool. You idiot moron. It's just stupid. You got to be an idiot and a racial idolater. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. If white people were, never mind. All right, man, let's keep reading some of this. So sad that people are fixated. Yeah. Another thing I kept hearing, and again, I don't know. I'm sure there were other races saying the same thing, but I'm black. So I'm surrounded by, more people that look like me in real life and on Facebook and on social media. I know more people that look like me than that don't. So I'm only speaking for the black people that I've seen because I'm not around whites like that or Hispanics or Asians to know what they're saying. So I cannot account for them guys. So don't say, well, it ain't only black people that's doing this. Yo, bro, it's not only black people saying that. I don't want to hear that. I'm only around black people for the most part, so that's all I know. So I'm going to speak to that. Now that we got that caveat out the way. I'm going to speak to what I know. I'm black. I know black. And what I've seen was, there ain't no black. It's an all-white jury. First of all, you're stupid. That tells me you haven't looked at the case at all. You're literally stupid. And you're saying it's all-white jury when, in fact, there was I believe they said someone of Arabic or Middle Eastern descent on the jury, as well as I think they said there was at least 3 minorities on the jury, from what I understand. None of them were black. I think they said 1 or 2 of them appeared to be Hispanic. Again, we don't know because we don't have their names because the jury's names are protected, but the reporters that are in there looking can go by what they see. And they saw 3 people that they believe to be minorities. I believe it's 3. Don't quote me, guys. I've been catching some information on this case, but I haven't followed the case in that way. I have been heavily paying attention to the trial, though. Haven't followed it, but paid a lot of attention to as much as I could. It's unfortunate that that it wasn't recorded. I would have loved to see it recorded because then it could have took a lot of speculation out from my side. I wouldn't have to speculate. I could say, look, I watched the trial. Y'all watched it too, but y'all don't really care because all y'all see is black and white. But I watched the trial for facts, and I would have been able to make a better opinion that way. And if the opinion was that Karmelo got railroaded, I would have said that. But I can't make that opinion. I can only go by what's being reported off of what the witnesses have said by the reporters that were in there. Okay? You're supposed to have a jury of your peers. That's a constitutional right, I believe, right? That you have a jury of your peers. That is a constitutional right. Let me see. Constitutional right that you need to have a jury of your peers. Now, I want you guys to understand that. What does a jury of your peers mean? So that's a 6th Amendment in the Constitution. Jury of your peers. Sorry, guys, I'm just looking it up right now. Okay. This took place, I believe, in Frisco, Texas. All right? Because we just going to deal with the facts, yo. I know a lot of y'all like to deal with emotions and feelings, and, well, he's black. Oh, the other guy's white. Why should we care about what happens to him? Because white people are, I guess they're the devil. I guess that's what I'm told anyway. I don't know. So why should we care? But right here, the 6th Amendment guarantees that all in a criminal prosecution, guarantees that in all criminal prosecutions, the accused has the right to a speedy and public trial by impartial jury. Now, what's annoying is that this was not a public, it was definitely speedy, but this is not a public trial. Not too public because they won't allow cameras in there. And an impartial jury. This jury must be drawn from the state and district where the crime was committed. That's important, guys. That's very important. This jury must be drawn from the state and district where the crime was committed. This was committed in Texas, I believe in Frisco, Texas. It's not a very large black population in Frisco, Texas, guys. It's just what it is. It's not a large black population. Let's see here. And let's see. I want to make sure I got my facts right. It took place in Frisco, Texas, right? Okay. What's the percentage of black people? I mean, these are things you guys can look up. In Frisco, Texas. All right, guys. So the Constitution says, because I hear a lot of people, mainly black people, saying, I hear a lot of black people saying he has a right to a fair and he should have a jury of his peers. And a lot of the people saying that, not just black, but a lot of people just saying, I'm going to take black off the table. A lot of people saying he should have a right to a jury of his peers. Yeah, they're right, but they're stupidly implying that his peers means that he should have black people on the trial. They're stupidly implying that his peers means he's black. He need to have black representative up there. I mean, yeah, that'd be ideal. I agree, because if I was on trial, I ain't gonna lie, I'd want some black people up there. I would not want a trial of all black people. I wouldn't want a trial of all white people. I definitely wouldn't want a trial of all women, and I wouldn't necessarily want a trial of all men. Give me some women, give me some men, give me some older, give me some younger, give me some blacks, give me some Hispanics, give me some Asians, give me some whites. Ideally, but we cannot always get what we ideally want. Now, I want y'all to look at this page real quick. Black or African American residents make up exactly 10% of the population of Frisco, Texas, according to the recent data from the city of Frisco. This is Frisco at a glance, 2026. All right. You got a 45% white population, 33% Asian, 10% Hispanic, and then 10% black. So now back to this page right here. What the Constitution says, this jury must be drawn from the state and district where the crime was committed. The state and district would have been Frisco, Texas. Well, how many blacks live in Frisco, Texas? 10% of the population. So you already don't even have a large drawing pool. Sorry, guys. I realized I wasn't sharing my screen. I was not sharing my screen. How do I zoom in? Where's the zoom button? If I can find it here. Sorry, guys. I don't know how to zoom in without. I mean, I know I can hit file and zoom in. Let's see here. Black or African Americans residents make up exactly 10% of the population of Frisco, Texas. So blacks only make up 10% of the population of Frisco, Texas. And the Constitution says that this jury must be drawn from the state and district where the crime was committed, and that people have the right to a speedy and public trial by impartial jury. And then you got 10%. You have 10%. 10% of Frisco, Texas is black. Only 10%. So you don't have a large drawing pool to draw from. And out of those people, you have to draw from certain professions. They pick certain types of professions, things like that they feel have the best shot at being impartial. Now, after that, I don't know how many black people were selected to be on the jury pool. I don't know that information, but you don't got a large number to deal with. The Constitution said it has to be in the district and state that the crime was committed in. No one told him to stab someone in Frisco, Texas, where there's only 10% black people. So how is that anybody's fault except for his? Okay. The black people they do choose from, all of them in some capacity said they had a hard time being impartial. Okay. They said they had a hard time. Excuse me. Thank you. They said they had a hard time being impartial. Well, this says that it has to be an impartial jury. So if I'm in charge of, if I'm the judge or whoever, the prosecution and the defense team in charge of picking this jury, and we both know that we have a duty to uphold the Constitution, and we understand that the jury has to be impartial, and people, rather they be white or black, because it wasn't just black people that were disqualified. Y'all do know there were more than just black people that were struck down from being on a jury, right? Oh, okay. So if I only got 10% of the population is black, and now that 10%, not all of them are adults. Not all of them don't have felonies. If you got a felony, you can't serve on the jury pool. Just like all the white people, the 45% white people in Frisco, Texas, some of them got felonies. They couldn't serve on the jury pool. So at 10%, not all 10% is eligible to even vote. I mean, excuse me. Thanks. I'll probably say this again, but so out of that 10% of black people that live in Frisco, Texas, some of those are minors, some of those are kids. Some of those aren't eligible for one reason or another. So now you got to take that 10% down even lower. And then from that, you select some black people that you can interview for the jury pool. And you have some quota that's saying I'd have a hard time putting this young black kid in jail. What are they supposed to do? And say, well, you're black and we need black representation. No, we need meritocracy. I would love black representation as well, but that black representation comes at a lack of meritocracy. We can't have it. We can't have it. So the jury selection, if only 10% of Frisco, Texas is black, guys, only 10% of Frisco, Texas is black. Listen, y'all can get mad at me. Y'all can argue with me all day. The facts is only 10% of Frisco, Texas is black. And out of that 10%, you can't be a felon to be on the jury. And that includes out of 45% white people and 33% Asian people, none of them can be felons. There's other things that disqualify you automatically from even being selected into the jury pool, right? For even being selected. There's other things that would disqualify you. So we got to stop this every Mrs. TNT, what's going on? What's going on? Glad for you to drop in. Glad for you to drop in. But yeah, so we got 10% that's black. Out of that 10%, not all of them qualified to even be on the jury pool. Just like out of 45% whites, not all of them qualified to be on the jury pool. So you got a very limited amount you can work with. And the ones you do work with say, no, I'd have a hard time being fair and impartial, essentially. It is what it is. Be mad at those guys that couldn't even go up there and at least lie. I'm glad they didn't lie, but they couldn't go up there and lie and say, yeah, I'll be impartial, knowing in the back of mind they wouldn't. Be mad at them. But instead, we got this narrative that everything is racist if blacks aren't supreme. Everything is racist if a black person isn't in charge, if a black person isn't on what appears to be the winning end of things. We kind of call it racist. I don't get that. I do get it. I studied history enough to get it. I'm black. I understand. Because I used to be the same way. Literally, I was in some capacity raised to think that way. So I used to be the same way. I was a victim. I was a black victim. All my misfortunes were because I was black, especially if the person on the other end that was causing my misfortunes was white. It was like, oh, okay, it's the white man doing this to me. I was raised to think like that, so I get it. I don't feel like that no more, thank God. But I was raised to think like that. But all praise be to the Most High. He broke me from that thinking of being a black victim. And everything that happens to black people around me is the result of racism. I had someone tell me recently that black people gather in takeovers. My question to that person was, why do black people gather and do these black teens gather and do these teen takeovers that results in a lot of the times them shooting and I've seen it myself, them shooting and fighting each other? That person's response, black people gather in takeovers because they're not comfortable enough to go to certain places by themselves. What? Always an excuse instead of just, so black people shoot each other in those takeovers and fight each other because they're not comfortable being alone in there. You know how stupid that sounds? It's like, it's so ignorantly stupid. It's so ignorantly stupid. Whatever. The jury being fair and impartial doesn't always look like your skin color. I'm sorry. They say, well, let a white man be on trial and it be an all-black jury. I mean, you need more black people in that area than white people for that to be true. And we know that white people make up the bulk of American population. So that's just like really stupid to even think. You guys got to think factual, man. You got to stop with the feelings. Stop with the victimhood. Stop with the feelings. It's annoying. It's stupid. It's childish. Like, grow up, man. Literally just grow up. This person looks like a white lady. Respectfully, the evidence was clear and the facts were as well. But how was the jury even close to his peers? 30 to 60 years old, all white, Texas raised. This is a white lady talking real dumb. The jury was not all white. Texas is like Mississippi, racially biased. Yes, he committed a crime. And yes, he was not, he as not what? I guess you meant to say, I don't know. I can't understand that. Do you think for 1 minute he went there to commit murder? I don't, by the way. I don't think he went there to commit murder. He wasn't charged for premeditated murder, though. He was charged for murder. There is a difference. Premeditation means you planned it. Like, this is somebody that's not sticking to the facts. She's another one right here. How was the jury even close to his peers? We first have to start at the jury pool and see who was selected. What age were they? What race were they? Okay, the ones that were struck down, why were they struck down? We need a reason. We need to see that. You can't get a jury of someone's peers if the peers are not willing to, because again, what do you mean by peers? If the peers look just like me and are my age, yeah, they're probably going to side with me automatically with or without the facts. We can evidently see that in America right now. Just look on YouTube. So you're not going to get a jury of your peers that look and act just like you. Of course they're going to side with you. That, never mind court, that's just in life. We have enough experience to know people that look like us and that are around our same age, from the same place we're from, generally think the way we think. If you're objective, you'll know that. If you're not being objective because you don't want me to be right, then of course you won't know that. You'll say something stupid right now. But if you're objective, you know that. Do you think for 1 minute he went there to commit murder? No, I don't. I do not think he went there to commit murder. I do not. Have you ever heard the saying, a scared, quiet man will kill you quicker than a loud one? If an aggressor put their hands on me and I am minding my business, then he gets what the adrenaline gives. That's fine. And if your adrenaline gives murder, you'll go to prison too, idiot. I mean, it's cool. Like, just, that's fine. I don't disagree with anything she said here. You just don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Y'all remember that saying? It's okay. You can do to me whatever your adrenaline tells you to do. You see the sentence? If an aggressor put their hands on me, and this is a woman saying this, and I am minding my business, then he get what the adrenaline gives. If I'm minding my business and the aggressor is a woman and she punches me in the head and I hit her back, am I wrong? I just want to know, because this is a woman saying this. So with this woman, by this logic, if my adrenaline gets the best of me, can I say that? Or am I, you're a woman beater and I'm banned for life for everything. I can't have a career no more. I can't do nothing because a woman slapped me and choked me and I decided I was going to put my hands back on her and defend myself. By this logic, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going by what this person's saying. This is a woman saying this. Now, if I ask her this question, she won't say that. She'll say, well, that's two different things. No, adrenaline is not something I can control, whether you're a woman or a guy. Adrenaline is a bodily response. It's like pissing. Like, if I got to go take a piss, it's a bodily response. Like, I can't stop that. If my adrenaline spikes because someone punched me in the jaw, I can't stop it, apparently, right? You get what the adrenaline gives. Oh, okay. Not the same, right? Because we're talking about a man and a woman. Okay. Okay. Guy says, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. I get that. He still lives to see another day. That's a fact. He lives while the other guy's dead. I feel bad for both parties, but Karmelo did confess to killing him. You know what, Austin? You're right. I don't want to leave the page. I can't tell if this is a white. It's a white guy. Ray Charles seen that coming. I don't know. This is a troll page. Burner page. He was against himself. You choose your own options. Don't know who this person is. Monty Staley. I don't know. I won't assume what they are. The fact that people are mad and sad about a murderer being found guilty is disturbing. Wasted a perfectly good hairdo trying to influence the jury. What? I don't know who this person is or what they're talking about. I really don't. Everything has consequences. Prayers to Austin's family. The jury was agreed upon by both the defense and the prosecution attorneys. That's true. They were not you. Someone says they were not, you idiot. There were only 3 potential black jurors out of 600, and the prosecution struck them down immediately. The prosecution struck them down immediately. All right, let's do the math. I don't even know what that is. I want to do the math. Okay. 3 divided by 600 is 0.005, so that's not even 5%. Now, I don't know if there were only 3, but I am going to Google that real quick because I want to see how true that is. I gotta zoom out. Okay. Yeah, so there were only 3 prospective black jurors, and those 3 couldn't be unfair and impartial. Again, you guys gotta understand that's less than 5%. That's less than 1% of the jurors, of the potential jurors, are black. We're in Frisco, Texas, where only 10% of the population is black. Out of that 10%, you have to be qualified, right? Not to say that black people aren't qualified, because not all 45% of white people were qualified, right? Let me see. What are the qualifications to be a juror? To qualify for jury service in the United States in 2026, you must meet the following core requirements, which generally apply to both federal and state courts. Citizenship, be a citizen of the United States, be at least 18, reside in the summoning district or county for at least 1 year for the federal courts. Oh, that's federal courts. We're talking about state. Language fluency, must be able to read, write, speak, and understand English language, competently be physically and mentally capable of rendering satisfactory service. Legal standing, have no pending felony charges or no prior felony convictions unless civil rights have been legally restored. Common disqualifications and exemptions, prior service. In many jurisdictions, you are ineligible if you have already served as a juror within the past 2 to 6 years. That's going to disqualify some of the black people. It is what it is. It's going to disqualify some of the white people too. You only got 10%. Remember, you're working already with a small number of black people in Frisco, Texas. A small number of black people in Frisco, Texas. There's 200. It says as of 2026, the population of Frisco, Texas is estimated to be approximately 245 to 247,000 people. So we're going to take 247,000 people We're going to times that by 10%, and you get 24,000 blacks, right? Roughly 24,700 blacks, roughly. You get roughly 24,700 blacks. Out of them, all of those blacks are not adults. All those black people are not adults. You got to be 18 or older. You got to be 18 or older. And generally, if you served as a juror in the last 2 to 6 years, you won't get called again, generally speaking. Some of those black people you'd have to imagine have served as jurors in the last 2 to 6 years. That narrows your 10% down some. Active duty public roles, active duty military, police, firefighters, and public officials are often exempt. I mean, of course, they're not going to have any black cops up there, or any cops for that matter. If you're a cop, you can't be up there. You're already going to be tainted, right? Colored. So out of those 10% of black people, some of them have served on jury in the last 2 to 6 years. If y'all say they haven't, you're lying. Some of them are active duty in the military. Some of them are cops. Some of them are firefighters. Some of them are public officials like congressmen, etc. Do y'all not agree with that? Okay, so that takes that 24,000 down by more. Age-related. Some districts allow individuals over 70 to request an excuse. Right, okay. So you might, do you think every black person in Frisco, Texas is below 70? Don't you? You'd have to agree there might be some 80 and 90-year-old black people in Frisco, Texas, right? Okay. All right, only 6? Man. All right, I'm not showing the right page. I'm showing a different page. I was looking to see how many black officers were in Frisco, Texas. I just wanted to see. It says about 6. That just goes, that tells you a lot. That just tells you a lot. My point is, out of the 10% black people, you don't have a large pool to choose from. I think I did a good job proving that. Yes, Karmelo Anthony is guilty, Mrs. TNT. He has been found guilty. Let me add a banner there. Yes, Karmelo Anthony has definitely been found guilty of murder. Yes, he is definitely guilty. Or at least he's been found guilty. All right. Right. Karmelo Anthony found guilty of murder. Yes. So all these people talking about the jury, this and that, like this lady, she's talking real stupid. Prayers for Austin's family, but also praying for Karmelo Anthony. There's another guy praying for both. We don't see other people doing that, but also praying for Karmelo Anthony. He has a rough road ahead. Praying for his family as well. It has to be really hard to see them put your child in cuffs. Yeah, I agree. I feel really, listen, I feel really bad for this kid. I got a nephew who's close to his age. I got a son who's a few years off of his age. I couldn't imagine seeing my son, my nephew, somebody I love and care about, being walked out of court, in handcuffs. Like, I could not imagine seeing that. Like, that would break my heart. And you don't know the next time that you're going to see them. You might. It's sad, man. But what's even sadder to me is that Austin Metcalf lost his life. That's what's even sadder to me. I feel worse for Austin Metcalf and his family because he lost his life and they won't be able to talk to him again. They won't be able to communicate with him again. They won't be able to see him again. So I feel bad for both, but I feel worse for this guy, for Austin Metcalf, because what happened to him sucks. Over a senseless scuffle, he lost his life, and we want to talk about self-defense. Get out of here. Get out of here. Like, it's disgusting to see what I've been seeing. And I'm going to try to see if I can find what's going on right now. I don't know if they did sentencing yet. We'll see. Yo, did Candace Owens, this gotta be fake. Did she really interview Putin? I don't believe this. I'll believe it. Yo, did Candace Owens interview Vladimir Putin? I don't know that I believe that. Let me see.
The doctors and great family history. We were no longer understanding our audience. It to
okay. I was about to say she has a screen like it's probably AI. But I was about to say, I was like, yo, there's no way. Man, I love me some Candace Owens. That's my dog, man. I know some of y'all hate her because she's honest and not a racial idolater, but let me see. Let's see. Reactions to Karmelo Anthony's verdict. Let's see this.
He was found guilty of murder. The woman here is crying.
All right. All right. That's probably how Austin Metcalf's family felt when they found out he was murdered. They probably were crying too. So I mean, it is what it is, man. I don't understand. Like, we're upset because a murderer was found guilty of murder. Unbelievable. Let me see. Yeah. I think Megyn Kelly did something on this earlier. Let me see. This is 1 hour ago. Yes, 1 hour ago.
Websites your competitors.
And we're gonna mute that. I don't really care to see that. All right. We're gonna speed this up a little bit. But yeah, man. The reaction has been wild, to say the least. Get rid of that. I want to see just kind of some of the reaction. See if she has any reaction videos here. Because she went live on Verdict Watch earlier. And when they read the verdict, she was on air. I want to see if they played any. Oh, Lord. All right. She got some experts up there with her. All right, guys, let's see this. Let's see this BS. That's what it is.
Panthers are behaving terribly. Recommendation. Yeah, go ahead,
on that
Phil.
note, I was going to excuse myself. Thank you very much for having us. I have a dog that needs to get to a veterinary appointment, but always happy to be here with you and talk about these great programs. And we want everybody to make sure they check all of us out over at MK True Crime. We got 3 great shows over there.
Absolutely. Check out my panel. And Dave, do you have to? I think you have to go too, according to my producers. Yeah, I got to leave me, but I have another team coming in. You guys, thank you. You've all been terrific, and I really appreciate you on the last minute joining us for the breaking news. Check out all of these guys at MK True Crime. That's where we have all of their shows, Positively Legal and the MK True Crime Show, along with In the Well, starring Mark Garagos and Matt Murphy. And you just have to hit one little follow button on your podcast streamer in order to get all of their content. You can check them out on YouTube as well. We're going to get some other lawyers joining us in 1 second, but just want to tell you what's happening outside of the courtroom now. These new Black Panthers are behaving terribly, injecting, once again, race where it doesn't belong. Take a listen to the following caller from outside of the courthouse. This is a female Black Panther.
We gotta tell our kids the truth, that this is a racist ass country. We gotta tell them the truth. Who don't get stop that cool ass shit? Don't nobody want to hear about what we do to each other.
Caller from outside.
So what this lady just said was, we're going to tell our kids the truth. This is a racist country. She says it twice. Then she tells somebody, stop that coon ass. Stop that coon ah. Nobody want to hear that S about we doing it to each other. So you don't want to hear the truth. Listen, the truth is you probably ate one too many cheeseburgers. That's the first part of the truth. I'm sorry. I got to add a little jokes in here because I've been real tense, guys. I'm not tense, but I know I'm coming off as tense. I know I'm coming off as really serious. So I'm sorry. I get it. I'm cracking jokes. Y'all may crack jokes about my hairline. You may crack jokes about my grays. You may crack jokes about my hair thinning because I'm getting older. That's fine. You can do that just as much as I want to crack jokes. Yes, she ate too many cheeseburgers, bro. It's just a fact. She says nobody want to hear that coon ass. What's coon about a black person saying we're doing it to ourselves? What's coon about that? You don't want to hear it because it's true. You only want to hear about when the white person's the perpetrator of crime. And in this case, a white person died and the black guy's the one that did the crime. So what are we crying about? Like where's the injustice? He admitted to doing it. Oh, it was self-defense. Man, you better get out of here with that. This hoe up here just talking, bro.
Gotta tell our kids the truth. That this is a race.
We're going to tell our kids to this is a racist country. Hey, they got this thing in 2026 that they didn't have back in the early 1900s. They didn't have as available as it is now, especially the black people. It's called an airplane. Get a one-way ticket back to wherever you want to go. If that's Africa, that's fine. Get a one-way ticket back to Africa, where most of our blacks live at. That's where you want to be. If this is a racist country and all these other things, and you're unsafe and blah, 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 you can catch a one-way trip right back, a one-way trip to Africa where you can feel more safe and at home. I'm sure they'll happily welcome you and bring plenty of cheeseburgers.
We're gonna tell them the truth. Who don't get stop that cool ass shit? Nobody want to hear about what we do to each other.
Just look how aggressive she is. Look how masculine she acts. I just heard the throwing of the hands, it's absolutely disgusting.
They doing us. White folks kill white folks. Mexicans kill Mexicans. We ain't trying to
now.
They doing us. Gotta tell them the truth. Who don't get stop that cool ass shit? Nobody want to hear about what we do to each other. We talking about what they doing to us. White folks kill white folks.
So you got a loud woman surrounded by three men. She's doing nothing but running her mouth while the men just stand around her and guard her. Like as if none of them could talk. They stand around guard this woman because she can't defend herself. Don't be out there talking crazy if you can't defend yourself, first and foremost. But whatever. These are a bunch of cucked out soft dudes. Just cucked and soft. It's ridiculous. She go, white folks kill white folks, black folks kill. So does that make it okay? It's okay. You're saying that you're a so-called Black Panther and you're okay with black folks killing black folks, but you're not okay with white folks killing black folks. And in this case, and which I'm not okay with, by the way, I'm not okay with black people killing black people. I'm not okay with people killing each other in general. But in this case, she's talking stupid because a white guy died at the hands of a black guy. What are you talking about? And look at these so-called Black Panthers. Now, when the Proud Boys show up, they're racist. When the so-called Black Panthers show up, well, they're just black. It's okay. But the Proud Boys show up, no Klansman hoodies, no none of that, but they're racist. All right. Nobody can call these guys racist, though. I'd hate to be a hypocrite.
Gotta tell them the truth. Who don't get stop that cool ass shit? Nobody want to hear about what we do to each other. We talking about what they doing to us. White folks kill white folks. Mexicans kill Mexicans.
Talking about what they doing to us. So a white guy just killed a black guy? Oh, no. It's a black guy that killed a white guy, but somehow the black guy's still the victim. Okay.
We ain't trying to hear no cool shit today. Go over there with them white folks with that. This is a racist ass country. We're in a racist ass state.
Leave.
This is a racist ass court.
Leave.
There ain't nothing else to talk about. When has a white boy been before an all black jury? Tell us, media.
When has a white boy been before all black jury? Black people do not dominate the population in America, so that's nearly impossible to do. And this black guy wasn't in front of an all white jury. So again, if you actually, read, kind of go do your homework, it kind of show you real quickly. Yes, I think 9 members were white. I think 3 of them were of some type of minority race. They weren't black. They were some type of minority race. If we had a black person on a trial, it'd be a mistrial strictly on the grounds of the fact, well, I'm not gonna find him guilty because he's black. That's not a fair and impartial jury either, you idiot. You're talking to us. He need a fair and impartial jury. Find a black juror that would have been impartial. That lives in Frisco, Texas. That's eligible. Find one. Because even if he wanted to be impartial, he can't be impartial now because it's going to get out who he is. And if it comes out that this black juror, this 30-year-old black juror from Frisco, Texas, that's a sandwich maker at Subway, voted guilty, man, they're going to cause that guy hell. So even if he wanted to be fair and impartial, he couldn't be. He has to vote that Karmelo's not guilty because he's black. Because there's a unanimous guilty vote and there's a black juror on that jury panel, they're going to find out who it is. And they're going to cause that guy hell. I wouldn't want to be the black juror on that jury panel. So I can have these little knucklehead idiots surrounding my home, acting stupid, and I can go out there and deck them in the mouth one by one, because I wouldn't hit the woman unless, she hit me first, of course. She's pretty big, so if she hit me and jumped on me, I would certainly defend myself. I'm not going to lay down for her because she's a female. She's much bigger than me. She could kill me. I wouldn't lay down for anybody. But if these little idiots came outside of my home and surrounded my home, I'd do the right thing and call the cops first, because I'm not trying to go to jail and get them out of here. But if they kept harassing me and kept bothering me, yeah, I'd probably break somebody's neck. My point is, I wouldn't want to be on that jury pool, because as a black man, I'm not even free to say what I think right or wrong is based off the evidence. I have to vote black because I'm black. Nah, I'm good on that, bro. I'm not with that tribal stuff. And neither should none of y'all idiots be. Not everybody's watching this is an idiot. Just the people that's on that tribal stuff. It's idiocracy.
Tell us, white folks, this is a war. This is a war.
She's saying this is a war. I don't see one gun in her hand. Just a lady that needs to get some cardio in talking. Just a lady who needs to get some cardio in talking. All right, cool. Let me 8 Mile myself real quick while I clown this one. I'm gonna 8 Mile myself real quick. Yeah, I'm a man that needs to get a hair transplant, grow a hairline, and put some hair dye in on my grays. Tooth to gum ratio, maybe. You want to talk about that? That's fine. Go ahead. I'm going to 8 Mile myself and do that for me. Now back to her. All I see, she talking about this is war. There's no gun in her hand. There's not one gun in her hand. This is war. Why she got it? What's in her hand when she's saying that? A drink? She has something to drink in her hand. Of course, she's feeding herself. She has something to drink in her hand while she's screaming, this is war. What war? The people you are at war, which I assume to be, I guess, the white people, they're standing right there while you're saying this is war, just like, all right, just keep the violence down. That's what they're doing. The only ones at war is y'all fools. Y'all the only fools at war.
This is a war. And it's been going on. This war been going on.
I can't take her serious. Yo. I can't take her serious, yo. Yo, y'all understand what I'm saying? Like, y'all feel me? I can't take this lady serious, bro. Like, this is terrible. She's steady screaming, this is a war.
Stop being racist.
So I want to talk about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention.
Come on,
endometriosis affects one.
I don't like these stupid ads, man. I said stupid ads. That's ADS, guys. Nobody need to be talking that dumb stuff.
We got to tell our kids the truth that this is a racist ass country, and then ask the question, when has a white boy ever been judged by an all black jury? Of course, trying to inject race into it, suggesting this jury's racist. Let's be honest. That's what she's suggesting, that they didn't give him a fair trial because he's black and they're white, which is just so outrageous and unfounded. And that's straight out of the Dominique Alexander playbook, who is the spokesperson for the Anthony family. And this is the poison he's been injecting into the bloodstream of Frisco, and hoping that someone who thought as he and this woman do would make it onto the jury. And unfortunately for him, they ran a very tight process and they weeded out those people. They weeded out people who would have allowed race to dictate their verdict. And you can see she's very upset about it. In fact, what they did was they allowed the facts and the law to dictate their verdict. And that's how we wound up with a guilty on murder, which is exactly what Karmelo Anthony committed and what he deserved. Back on the elements of the case, all black jury.
Sorry, I missed this part.
Of course, trying to inject race into it, suggesting this jury's racist.
Oh, wait.
Let's be honest, that's what she's
This wasn't a video. I thought she was
they-
playing a video of a reaction. I'm trying to see if they have any more reactions. Oh, this guy right here. I forget this guy's name. Dominique something.
Your son regret what he did. Yes, he's very sorry for what he did. I got to be honest. I don't have a lot of tolerance for this mother. She sat there in back of Dominique Alexander. Let me show you that bit from Dominique Alexander trying to demonize Austin's dad, Jeff Metcalf. Just listen to this one. This is from April of 2025, SOT 15.
What we seen at the beginning of this press conference.
Parents are behind him.
The father being at this press conference is a disrespect to the dignity of his son. That was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited.
Anytime a white man.
Radical group of New Black Panthers and their supporters. Not everyone there is a New Black Panther. This is via Nick's order as well. I'll take a listen to here, SOT 56.
To protect black people. Anytime a white man or a white child can go and put their hands aggressively on anybody and something like this occur, it's self-defense. It's self-defense. You put your hand on me and see how I respond. Beat your motherfucking hand. What will the answer?
You put your hand at me and see how I respond. All right, you can respond how you want. I mean, if you shoot or stab or whatever, you'll probably not get self-defense as well, depending on the circumstances. Depends on how big the person is. Is it a male or female that put their hands on you, and a myriad of other reasons. But I mean, this acting tough thing, bro. This has to stop in the black community. We got to stop this acting tough stuff. Always wanting to be tough, and then the other dummy in the background. What she say? Beat your mother effing A. Who you gonna beat up?
Black people. Anytime.
If you even try to beat up the man, because she's being interviewed by a man, so like, who? Like, you mean you're gonna attack the man, and if he swings back, all the other men around are gonna jump him? So you feel emboldened to do it? Oh, that's cute. All right.
A white man or a white child can go and put their hands aggressively on anybody, and something like this occur, it's self-defense. It's self-defense. You put your hand on me and see how I respond. Beat your motherfucking hand.
You see this idiot right here? Like, looks like a complete... I can't use that word on YouTube. Looks like a complete bimbo who's not in touch with reality. This one right here. Beat your mother effing A. Whose A are you going to beat? I don't know. Whose A are you going to beat? Whatever.
Who will the Anthony family? What will the people that's standing behind the Anthony family do? That's the question you should ask. We're going to stand behind them and we're going to fight. That's what's going to happen.
What is your relationship with Anthony?
I have no relationship. We're brothers.
He said, what's your relationship to Anthony? I don't have one. And then the girl goes, we black. We black. We black. In other words, we black, so we stick together. We black, so we stick together. I stick on the side of truth. I don't really care what side that's on. I did used to be like, we black, so I stick on the black side. I did used to be that way. Now I'm on the side of truth. I could care less what color the truth is. I'm on the side of truth. My question, if Chud the Builder, because we're saying it's self-defense, so we're screaming self-defense. I want to know, do y'all, the same ones that scream self-defense for Karmelo Anthony, who actually killed somebody, whereas Chud just shot somebody and that person's going to live. Do y'all think it was self-defense for Chud too, or was it just self-defense for Karmelo Anthony? If it was only self-defense for Karmelo Anthony, not Chud, could you give me an intelligent response as to why? Drop it in the comment section, or feel free to come on here and have a conversation with me about it. I don't mind that. You can have a conversation with me about it. But does Chud the Builder get self-defense as well, or is it just Karmelo Anthony that gets self-defense? They did similar things, except for Karmelo, the black guy, killed somebody, and Chud, the white guy, didn't kill a black man. He shot the black man that allegedly attacked him first. The same way that Austin Metcalf allegedly attacked Karmelo first, and y'all saying it's self-defense. Can Chud get self-defense as well? I'm just asking. Y'all still feel the same way about Chud the Builder? Nah, because he's white and the victim is black, right? Oh.
black, we're brothers and sisters, we're blacks, we're the indigenous people of this earth. Black people, black sisters and brothers, black kings and queens, we gotta stick together. This makes no goddamn.
Black kings and queens, we gotta stick together. Not I. I stick with the truth. If the truth happens to be a black person spitting it, that's what's up. I rock with them. If it happens to be an Asian person spitting it, that's what's up. I rock with them. I'm on the side of the truth, man. I don't care if, bro, I'm not going to lie for you because you're black. I'm not going to co-sign something I think is wrong because you're black. Why would I do that? It's God's way first. I'm on God's side above all. And I can't, like, it's silly.
That young boy, he was defending his goddamn self.
I'm sorry, Imran, but if this is the black jury pool that they were looking at for this case, is it any wonder that the jury is without any blacks?
Well, certainly if that was the attitude that was being, given during the voir dire, right, jury selection, no juror like that would ever be selected, or a potential juror. And I have to just get to what is going on outside that courthouse now to suggest that after hearing the evidence, after hearing the testimony, watching the video, seeing all the forensic evidence that was put.
Is this guy live? No, he's not live. TV. See if they're live. Court TV is not live. I'm trying to see because we're on watch for the sentencing. So the jury is supposed to decide the sentencing, which I think is very odd. It's very odd. Long Crime Network. Okay. Nobody's live with it right now. Just trying to see if man, my air conditioner's broke in my house and it's really hot. Oh wait, Karmelo Anthony got a haircut? Nah, that's gotta be fake because there's no what's the name allowed in here. Oh, let's see what Anton Daniels
explaining the rules. Our Lori Brown telling us that any outburst, a person will be held in contempt. So just kind of, letting them know what the rules are, just so that,
Yeah, it's not a surprise to the people that were following the actual trial because we knew that the defense once arrested this case, the rest of this case yesterday, and then obviously the prosecution rests their case. The jury deliberated and, they found him guilty in no time, to be honest with you. And so the defense was basically trying to pitch this as there was some discrepancies. They tried to lean on some of the people that testified, including some of the young people that testified. One person switched up their perspective slightly. And so they tried to, eliminate credibility in that. There had been reports, I actually talked about this on the Millionaire Morning Show today, that, the defense was holding on to the possibility of a mistrial, and they were hoping that he was not guilty of murder and that somehow, some way he was guilty of manslaughter. More importantly, what I've been saying, and I anticipated that this was happening, and so one of the conversations that I had on the Millionaire Morning Show today was that this was not going to be a good verdict for anyone, even if justice is served, or in the eyes of people that feel like justice was served, because Karmelo Anthony murdered the now we know for a fact that he murdered him because that's what the jury decided that he did. And of course, they're going to probably appeal, but it's a strong possibility that he'll spend a majority, if not all of his life in prison. And that's not the real travesty. The travesty is not only is he going to jail, but there's a child that will never, or not even a child, a young person that will never, ever see the light of day because he was murdered. And then more importantly, there will be even more of a race tension amongst us because people are already upset at the Asian community and want to boycott the Asian community because Rick Child in the Cyrus case was found not guilty. And now you have this whole situation with
That's another thing I've been seeing a lot of online was, well, what about the whataboutism? We always gotta do that. What about the Chinese guy that killed the black guy? Why he ain't guilty? And I'm like, we could talk about that, but we're talking about the Karmelo case right now. So Karmelo being found guilty or innocent ain't got nothing to do with that other guy being found guilty or innocent. 2 different counties, 2 different jury pools, 2 different judges, 2 different circumstances. It's such a stupid, ridiculous question. It's absolutely ridiculous. I only brought up Chud the Builder and did the comparison thing because that's what everybody else is doing. And I like to fight people with their own weapons. So if you bring a gun to a fist fight, I'm gonna pick up a gun as well. You bring a knife to a fist fight, I'm gonna pick up a knife. If you want to fight with fists, I'm gonna fight with fists. I'm gonna fight you however you want to fight. So it don't really matter to me. I can play that game, but I don't really care for the whataboutisms. I do get comparisons sometimes, and sometimes they can be very important. And I understand the need to kind of compare and contrast when you're trying to show discrepancies or when you're trying to prove bias on one side versus the other. Yeah, you do got to compare. I get that. But you're talking about an Asian and a black kid. Now, for what I understand, they say black people can't be racist because black people are the ones that racism was perpetuated against, so we don't own anything. We're a minority. Well, Asians are a minority as well, so can they be racist? Because that's what they always do is make it racist. George Zimmerman, y'all remember him? Before I knew, just because of everything that happened, I didn't know George Zimmerman because I kept hearing race, and racism. I didn't know George Zimmerman was Hispanic. I had no clue that George Zimmerman was Hispanic. I thought he was white because of how much of the racism I heard. And then I realized he was Hispanic during the actual, trial when I started paying attention. And I'm like, so everything that goes against black people is racist, except for if the perpetrator is black, of course, and then it's okay because black on black crime is acceptable because everybody else does it. White people get white people, so why can't black kill black people? You know how stupid that is with that stupid fake Black Panther who just had one too many slices of pizza. It's such a stupid comment. And it's ignorant, it's asinine, it's moronic, it's unintelligent. White people kill white people. I don't give a F about blacks killing blacks. We talking about what they doing to us. Well, in this particular case, they didn't do anything to us. We did it. I mean, they pushed us. And then we stabbed. Took his life for a push. Too cowardly to fight. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just live here.
Karmelo Anthony, and it's just going to get worse and worse, right? Because, and I will tell you that black people, in a sense, don't feel like they can catch a break, right? The ones that are leaning into the victim Olympics, the ones that don't want to raise their children correctly, the ones that don't want to be accountable, the ones that always want to blame society and everybody else except for the culture and what it is that they propose, the ones that don't want to take accountability, the ones that don't want to hold the parents responsible. After all of this time, they're not going to come back and say, well, you know what? We need to do better in raising our children. We need to change our cultural norms. We need to have a different perspective. We need to approach this differently. They're not going to do that. You know what they're going to do? They're going to say, well, it's the system's fault. It's white people.
Yep. It's systemic racism. It's systemic racism's fault that we're killing each other, etc. And that we value chasing money and we value chasing flashy things instead of investing that money and building that money. It's the system's fault. It's this broken system that we were born into. All right.
They're going to find a way to somehow blame Trump about it. They're going to go into that. They're going to do more than they ever did before to lean further into victimhood.
I haven't seen the black people blaming Trump for this, which I'm very shocked at. I'm extremely shocked they haven't blamed Trump for this murder because I thought by now they would have. I thought that I saw academics go live. What was that? Let me see. I thought that he was live.
Explaining the rules. Our Lori Brown.
Levels. You see black people going crazy and all of that stuff. And then I'm just like, you know what good is going to come out of this situation? I don't think anything good comes out of it. This is fresh off the news press. He's found guilty and now he's going to be up for sentencing. And they're going to try to probably revoke his bail so that he doesn't escape or anything like that. And it just goes left from there.
All right. So, I mean, what we know is that, they've rejected the self-defense claim. They believed that the use of deadly force in response to the shove was excessive. And that's not necessarily a surprise.
Let's see what academic.
How many machines does your home gym?
If he's dealing with this case, we'll watch him for a little bit. If he's not, then I'm not gonna stay on his channel.
The defense side of things here in a moment, and kind of from Karmelo Anthony's perspective, what they're trying to say, but you just wonder.
Okay, let me get to the defense side of things.
Which valid if he did. So this coach gets up there and he's talking about how Karmelo was this athlete who's on the football team, and they presented an exhibit of what they call the captain's awards at his school, to which you see Karmelo's name engraved as the captain in 2024 during his fall senior season. And they also pointed out that that is voted upon by the students, pretty much trying to show that, Karmelo Anthony is a reputable guy. He's somewhat of a leader. He looks like a leader to his classmates and his teammates. So they talked about that for a little bit, and then they got into the we've heard the tent culture. That was what a lot of this has been, that phrase has been circulating around in the courtroom, talking about each tent is like each locker room for each team. Therefore, people should not be hanging under the tents. Well, this coach was saying, I get that, but at the same time, I guess it's the discretion of each coach. Whereas we had the coach from Memorial High School, that was the absolute first witness the second witness by the prosecution, talking about how, strict he is and how, he enforces his rules. And we had that several student witnesses talk about how Coach Robert Starr, that's the coach for Memorial High School, has been strict. It's garnered some laughs inside the courtroom when they talk about how strict he was. But this coach here today was saying, there was times where athletes from another school would come under my tent when I'm there and, ask if they could be there. And I was like, yeah, we'll chill out and watch the 200 meters. But what the prosecution harped on during that, when they got on the cross-examination, was, he specified when you were there as a coach, as a supervising individual versus, just the teenagers running free, because this coach also specified that they like to have a coach at the tents at all times just to watch teenagers, not thinking about crimes. You got boys, you got girls, you got a lot of hormones. You want to keep everything in line with a bunch of teenagers. So, started off with, positivity for Karmelo, which obviously his side is in support of. But when it got to cross-examination, it just seemed like the prosecution was just ready for everything that this coach had to say and tried to dispute anything that was being said.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We might have to circle back on this. I know the verdict just came down. We're getting a lot of other people kind of chiming in, but we will come back to this. Real quick. We want to touch on this Dirk situation. So, chat. I'm
all right. So he's going. He's going a little bit off topic. I'm gonna see if there's anybody else covering this, because I was hoping we get a sentencing today, but I guess we will not be getting sentencing today. Oh, Dr. Umar. Holy. Officer Tatum weighed in on this. Acting for prosecutors called it murder. Jamel Hill. Holy. Let's see if we got anybody. Oh, wait, this is the one that.
And most of all, I have money. I hear God saying something big is gonna happen.
I don't even know who that is, but it's not what I clicked for. Just trying to see, because I don't know if y'all heard about this girl that was this girl that didn't got a diploma taken back because she jumped across stage and started twerking on the stage. Let's see if I can find that for you real quick. But they say that she was not twerking on stage, but popped a split on stage, and people were very up in arms about that. Let me see this real quick, actually.
Then it's self-defense to stab them immediately, which, boy, here you go.
To protect black people. Anytime a white man or a white child can go and put their hands aggressively on anybody and something like
we
this
just watched this.
It's self-defense. It's self-defense. You put your hand on me and see how I respond.
Yeah. Okay. So if you were to put your hand on her and, for example, say, hey, I think you need to calm down a little bit. There's not legal justification to go knife, stab, 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 stab. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
This weirdo idea that self-defense only applies when you are violating the law, or you are violating, in this case, as the individual was not supposed to be in the opposing team's tent, started antagonizing the other players in there. And someone said, dude, you need to leave. And then he gets out the knife and stabs the kid to death. No, absolutely not.
We gotta tell them the truth. Who don't get stop that cool ass? Don't nobody want to hear about what we do to each other.
Yes. Okay. Exciting. Yes. It's a racist country. Why is it a racist country? Because if you stab somebody, you get thrown in jail for it. This is some Brandon Johnson out of Chicago logic.
Talk about what they doing to us. White folks kill white folks. Mexicans kill Mexicans. We ain't trying to hear no cool today.
Okay. So, but if the white person kills a white person, for example, I happened to look through those good old fashioned Texas legal records. I just so happened to find multiple instances of white individuals killing white individuals, Native Americans killing Native Americans of the same tribe, by the way, for those who weren't asking, Mexicans and killing Mexicans. And you know what? They received sentences similar to this Karmelo Anthony who stabbed and killed Austin Metcalf. He's not special. So anywho, it continues, and it continues to the point where there are individuals trying to calm it down and it isn't working. Radio crew, we're going to send you to the commercial. We're going to continue on the live stream. Lots to cover tonight. It's the Tony Kinnett Cast here on the Daily Signal.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered...
Sorry, let me get a little extra commercial things you guys don't have to hear out of the way.
Look, man, the bottom line is, it's a message I want to make very, very clear, because I know there are a lot of people over... There's so many people over social media that get angry at me, including my family. Not all, but there's a lot of people in my family, as you can imagine. I'm a black guy that doesn't just jump black. So there's a lot of people in my family who do not agree with that, and who get really frustrated with me for the way I speak. You're right. I'm pretty vocal with my stuff. If I actually personally know you and I talk to you in person, I speak a lot more vocally and a lot more freely than I do online, because I know that online people can clip what I say, screenshot what I say, and I know that they will inevitably try to ruin my reputation in business because they have no other recourse. People get very angry at you for having an opinion, and they know they're too cucked out to like actually come do something about it, which, again, why would you want to harm somebody because you don't like their opinion? But in the case that it makes you so mad that you want to do something about it, but you know you don't actually want to take it there with me, because I mean, I don't know, I'm just a small little man, I guess. But they don't want to take it there with me. So they much rather, people much rather hit you in your pockets for having an opinion that doesn't support the mainstream opinion. If that's how you feel, that's fine. But it is really frustrating. So I have to kind of censor myself online. I don't much, but I censor myself a little bit because I don't want to be taken out of context, and then people try to ruin my business and I can't take care of my child. So, but if I did this streaming full time and I could make a living off streaming full time, I'd be a whole lot more vocal and more open with what I actually think. But I have to censor myself in some capacity to make sure that I can still put food on the table, because I know people are really quick. They want to take the food off your table, especially when you're talking truth to power. They would argue, we don't have any power. We're the disenfranchised group. Man, wake up. Look around you. It's 2026. That's a bold-faced lie now. That was true a long time ago. It's not true now. It's not true now. People, I'm going to continue to speak truth to power as much as I can. You're going to like it. You're going to dislike it. That's fine. That's fine. Karmelo Anthony's guilty, bro, based off the fact pattern. You cannot stab someone because they shove you. And from what I understand, one of the guys was even saying it wasn't even so much as a shove. He gave him a firm, sort of semi-firm push, but it wasn't some shove where he fell back or fell down. And from what I understand, Karmelo already had his hand in his bag when the dude was ready to shove him. So he'd already determined he was not going to fight that dude. My thing is, if he wasn't going to fight that dude and you were afraid, why didn't you just leave the tent you were asked to leave? Or even if you were told to leave. If I know I have no plans on fighting Brock Lesnar, no plans, and he says, dude, get the H out of here, I'm not going to say, you didn't say it nice enough. You can talk to me some nicer than that. talk to me with more respect, or else. I'm not gonna do that. Like, unless I plan on fighting the guy, or unless I plan on stabbing him, of course, or shooting him. Like, I'm not gonna fight Brock Lesnar. I'm not gonna pick a fight with Brock Lesnar. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to pick a fight with prime Mike Tyson. Why would I do that? So if I go into a place that I'm not even supposed to be in, and Tyson says, dude, get the H out of here, I'm not going to be like, you ain't talk to me right, nigga. Nah, make me. And then once he goes to make me, I was afraid, so I shot him. Because if I'm on the jury, I'm going to ask, why didn't you leave? Because you didn't like the way he said it? Did he take your bag? Did he take your phone? Did he take your money and you were there to get something back? Or you stayed in a place of a guy you were afraid of, who gave you an opportunity to leave, by the way. Who gave you an opportunity to leave, and you stayed. You stayed because you were afraid. No. You stayed because you were disrespected and you wanted your respect. How do you plan on getting your respect from somebody that wants to be violent with you, that you know you can't beat? That you're convinced you can't beat. And you're convinced you can't beat him because your defense is that you were afraid of him, so you stabbed him. That's why you couldn't fight him. So if you were really afraid, then that tells me in your mind you don't think you can beat the guy. If you didn't think you beat the guy, why would you stay? The tent wasn't some closed-in tent. It was one of those things that goes, one of those pop-up things where it has 4 sides and all 4 sides are open. All 4 sides are open. It wasn't some tent where there's only one door. There's 1,000 ways to exit the tent. There's 1,000 opportunities to exit the tent. You chose not to, which lets me know you probably weren't scared. You probably weren't that scared. And if you were, you should have left. It doesn't matter how nice he was about it. Did he take something from you that you were waiting to get back? No. So why were you still there? To be an agitator? Man, y'all need to wake up. Y'all got to stop this racial. Black people got to stick together. It's the same thing women do. Whether a woman is right or wrong, women have this, women got to stick together. Even if she's up there on the stand telling something that appears to be a bold-faced lie, she a woman and I got to stick by her side. Y'all got to stop this mess. Stick on the side of truth. Stop this mess. It's mess. I'm a side with her because she's a woman, even though what she's saying don't make no sense. I'm a side with him because he's black, even though what he's saying don't make a whole lot of sense. It makes sense to me because all I see is black. And the brother's right. I don't really care what you're talking about. That brother's right because he's black. Okay, and then you wonder why there was no black jurors. All black people don't think that way. I know. But all those people that was interested in the trial that showed up, they do. They do. Just go to social media, type in Karmelo Anthony. Go to Twitter, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, type in Karmelo Anthony, go straight to the comment section. You're going to see a lot of people talking sensible. I guess sensible is subjective. So let me take that back. You're going to see a lot of people that's not directly supporting Karmelo Anthony. See what color they are. Oh, they're white. They're automatically racist. Okay. You're going to see a lot of people supporting Karmelo Anthony. Oh, they're black. Does that make them racist? Nah, they black. They can't be racist. Oh. All right. That makes some sense. We're going to go over. I got to get off here because I got to cook. So I'm going to stay on for about 5 more minutes. I'm going to give you guys about 5 more minutes of my time, and then we're going to get off. I'm going to look something up real quick and see if I can find a statistic real quick. Try to find this statistic.
That the court has done what it's done. Nothing you can do. I understand how you feel. I understand. But it's time to just go home in peace. Is that okay? Hell no! Okay, hold on, wait.
What's wrong with going home in peace?
He said it's time to go home in peace. And what do you hear? A woman who sounds like she ain't white saying, hell no! You got a man, a black man, for all y'all that want to support black. You got and you're so pro-black. You have a black man saying, dude, we understand this and that. It's time to go home. Let's get, we don't want things to get out of hand out here. Let's go home. Is that okay? She goes, hell no. Rebellious. So many of them want to be rebellious. And where's her husband at? Where the heck is her husband that won't say, girl, shut the hell up and let's go home? Where's he at? Where's her dad at? That say, girl, shut the hell up and go home. Where's her big brother at? That'll say, girl, shut the hell up and go home. I know where they're at. Right behind her. Right behind her. Letting her lead. Screaming equality. She can do what she wants to do. Right on. Right on.
Peace. Why is this argument that if I don't like the way the jury rules, then I get to run around and break stuff and burn stuff and attack stuff and call for racial revolution and other kinds of nonsense? Why are we doing this? Immediately, the influencers took to the cameras and, called for more violence because, of course.
Sources have told me that they found Karmelo Anthony guilty of killing that white boy. And honestly, Chad, you can't really expect much in America. I didn't think you would get found guilty, but I'm not surprised by this. When you know what the criminal justice system is and what it's really meant to do, you don't get surprised at outcomes like this. They'll let that Rick Chow out, but they won't free Karmelo Anthony. A man who actually had his life threatened by two big white boys. It was me. I stabbed both of the niggas. But
that's exciting. See, well, this country, it's excellent. Thank you, random walking man number 47. Thrilling stuff indeed.
I forgot, and the twin brother would have been with him. Fuck you saying?
Oh, I would have killed his twin brother too. Ah, yes. Totally not.
Imagine white people out there saying something like that. I would have killed that black guy's twin brother too. Maybe called racist just for saying that. Is she racist? Is she racist for saying that? I want to know. Chat, weigh in. Weigh in, chat. Commenters, comment section, weigh in.
Not unhinged, insane comments. It's just about justice. It's not about violence and kind of racial spurning. By the way, the same kind of framing happened today in Congress. We're going to get to this in just a little bit because Jasmine Crockett, who was so outraged that we would cover the SPLC, who was funding part.
I hate that we have spent this much time, on SPLC and we've not addressed the elephant in the room, the literal elephant in the room.
Okay, literal means I should see the camera pan away and either see a real elephant straight out of the Jungle Book or J.B. Pritzker, one of the two. I'll take either. A literal elephant in the room. There are no elephants in the room, sweetie honey baby.
Jasmine Crockett is such a little crockpot, foolish piece of.
Learn to use words.
I didn't call her a piece of. I said she's full of it. That's what I said. So let's be clear. I didn't call her that.
Ask someone for a dictionary and or a thesaurus.
The vast majority of the people on that side of the aisle, and for those of you that are at home, let me tell you, when I say that side of the aisle, I'm talking about the Republicans, the ones that brought this hearing. And again, you've heard that this is not the first hearing, but the vast majority of them are white men.
Oh my gosh, I looked at the Democrat side of the aisle. Do you know what there's a lot of elected to their positions? A lot of white men. Oh no, quick, someone get my pearls. Oh no, oh, the horror.
White men are lecturing people of color because the vast majority, actually, any semblance of diversity comes from this side of the aisle.
So this is the argument. Oh, well, it's only the Democrats bring any kind of diversity. These white supremacists, they're the problem. She did step too far and got exactly what she deserved from Representative Wesley Hunt from Texas, who has a couple of things to say when this garbage is trotted out time and time again.
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Does that sound like a hater or not?
That sounds like a racial stereotype.
Okay, sounds good to me.
I had a previous colleague that talked about seeing a black pilot and what that would mean to Charlie Kirk's comments. And it's funny, black pilot here, by the way. I actually went to flight school, West Point graduate, learned how to fly the Apache helicopter, went to flight school in 2005. You see, there was no DEI. We just simply competed with everyone else. And I was selected, fought in combat, went on to fly 55 combat air missions.
Right on,
Nobody
brother.
gave a damn what I looked like because I got there on merit. What DEI does is it lowers standards based on race and based on gender.
Correct. And this is, again, something that you here in the United States.
Pow. Right on, brother. That's right.
Understand in a common sense manner. The reason we discuss this is because the same type of racial stoking, white supremacy, racist nonsense in other countries has turned into genuine race war. We're going to get to that in a second. Don't go anywhere. We got to bring the radio crew back from commercial. It's the Tony Kinnett cast here on the Daily Signal. We'll get to some of that in a minute. Later, he was confirmed as a migrant from Sudan. He has been charged with attempted murder and he's in custody. He entered the United Kingdom in February of 2023.
All right.
Reportedly, via kind of culture. Now, again, this is really upset the parliament already, according to some of the audio in this clip.
UK. I don't know anything about what's going on in the UK. What is he talking about? Forgot about these guys.
Every single time.
So Karmelo Anthony was found guilty of first-degree murder, and the black community is melting down online. Yeah. Watch this.
So the verdict is in for Karmelo Anthony, and they just found him guilty. And I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not surprised. I knew that they was going to find him guilty. I am not surprised at all. But another young black man life is being flushed down the toilet just for defending himself.
Defending himself from a shove, being told to leave, that's self-defense? That's justifiable force he used? Weird lady.
This is what I mean when I say being black in America. And it's okay for them to dehumanize us, for them to demean us, and it is even okay for them to harm us.
He was never harmed. He didn't have a scratch on him. The only person that was dehumanized and is still being dehumanized is Austin Metcalf. Yeah. His life mattered too.
So Karmelo Anthony was found guilty on first-degree murder, and my heart really just not only goes out to Austin Metcalf's family, but also Karmelo, because...
All right, well, at least she said her heart goes out to Austin Metcalf's family. That's more than I'm seeing from a lot of her constituents. I'll say that.
This one situation has changed his life forever. You know, I was talking to my mom about it, and I'm just like, damn, what if he just would have threw a hit? What if he just would have said, you know what, I'm finna be choked?
He could have just walked away.
What if he would have just left? I don't understand. Like, what if he just left? Why does he have to say, F it, I'm gonna beat you away because you told me to leave a place I'm not even really technically supposed to be at? Why you gotta beat his A for that? Why is that the response? It's a rhetorical question because I get it. I grew up in the same community, so I get it. But it's looking back on it, it's absolutely stupid.
Hey, yeah, that's all they wanted. You don't belong under this tent. Leave. It's funny. His life has changed forever. How about his twin brother and his father? Yeah. Moron.
I mean, I'm
You're an idiot.
shocked that it was on first-degree murder versus manslaughter with intention or whatever the case may be is very crazy to me, but
That's crazy.
he is guilty.
Yep.
They came out with a verdict around like a little before 3 o'clock.
Bro, y'all see that girl face? Y'all see her face? Like, whatever her response is, I'm sure I could kind of already guess how she's going to respond, right? I mean, most of y'all watch about can guess.
So 2 hours and 40 some minutes. Mind you, this is in Texas. I'm looking at this mugshot of this black child. My black child, your black child. My black son, your black son. And it took them 3 hours.
What about the human life that was lost? What about that? We're talking about the black child's mugshot. What about the human life that was lost? The white child that's in a coffin shot, right? It's a coffin shot of him. Took a picture of him in a coffin at the funeral. What about that kid that lost his life at the hands of the other kid that's in jail? What about that kid and his family? You crying over the little homie that got locked up. This is a piece of ass.
2 sentences. This
3 hours is way too long. It would have took me 30 seconds. And you know what's crazy? It has nothing to do with his skin color. Yeah. Yep.
now 19-year-old child to murder. They are going to throw away the rest of this baby's life.
19 is not a child, and nobody's throwing his life away. The white jury is not throwing his life away. Karmelo's actions is what caused him to throw his own life away. Yeah, he threw Austin Metcalf's life away. So now,
usual narrative, no accountability. It's like in our community, we seem to hate accountability. I can't speak for the other communities. I don't live in those communities. I only live in the community that I live in and the one I grew up in. Accountability is so few and far. It's like absolutely ridiculous.
juries have decided we're going to throw your life away. That's how it works.
For a stupid thing that he did at 18.
You know what? I hate how these people are downplaying what he did. A stupid thing. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just a stupid thing. It was murder.
I watched it with my daughter because I need her to understand that this is what the justice system looks like for our Black children. This is
That is insane. If the
This is now a 19-year-old man whose parents won't be grandparents. He'll never be a husband. He'll never be a father. It is just.
I'm just curious. Is she talking about? Y'all tell me. Is she talking about Karmelo or is she talking about Austin Metcalf? A kid that'll never be a husband, never be a father. Who is she talking about? Because last time I checked, Karmelo's still living, and at some point I imagine he'll get out of prison. Last time I checked, Austin Metcalf did. He not gonna have no kids. He not gonna have no. He not gonna be a father. He not gonna be a husband. He not gonna be able to give his parents any grandkids. That's the last time I checked. But we don't care about that though, because he white.
It's a mind to me that you could do something in a split second as a teenager and it cost you the rest of your life. This kid is facing 99 years.
good. And you know what? Austin Metcalf.
I'm not by any means saying that Austin Metcalf deserved to die. Absolutely not. What I am saying is I was a teenager and I did a bunch of dumb shit.
There's so many excuses being made. So many. Well, I'm not saying Austin deserved that, but blah, 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 blah. As a man, I can't say, I'm not allowed to say, although I'll say it. Cassie stayed, so she deserved what she got. Well, I'm not saying she deserved it, but she did stay. You know what they'll tell me? Victim blaming. And women are the first people to say victim blaming, victim shaming. That's a woman's term, and women use it all the time. When you say when you try to hold a woman accountable because she's a woman, you're not allowed to hold her accountable. It's called victim blaming. But these black people that I've been showing y'all today have been victim blaming, and it's been a whole lot of women, black women, have been victim blaming Austin Metcalf this entire time. And it's okay. They're doing it publicly. They won't lose their jobs. And nothing will happen to them. Because as I always say, they're a protected species. Y'all can hate me if y'all want. Some of y'all probably live a different experience than that, so you'll probably try to tell me about that. What I've seen, my own anecdotal experience, they're a protected species. They do a lot, can say a lot of things that I can never say because I'll lose my job if I say it. They can do a lot of things that I'll never do because I'll go to jail if I do it. And then I'll go to jail and I'll get real time if I do it. Well, they might get a slap on the wrist, get out on probation, a booking release. While I actually have to pay bail, they won't. I'm just saying my own anecdotal experience for what I've seen with my own two eyes. To me, women are a protected class. Black people are a protected class. Now, you put a black woman together, that's a protected class. Now, y'all may say different. That's fine. That's fine. Look at all these black people on Twitter melting down saying these things. And in public marching saying these crazy things that I would never be able to say publicly. I couldn't comfortably say it publicly. They can comfortably say it and sleep good at night knowing I still got a job tomorrow. I'll go to my white boss tomorrow and say, and what? Yeah, you saw me on video. What you going to do? Fire me? I'll sue this whole company. That's what they can think, and they'll still have their job. I got a 9-to-5 job, and I say, Cassie deserved everything she got because she stayed. And Cassie's a whore, and free Diddy. Enough people see that, they'll clip that I won't have a job. I won't have a job if I said that and meant it. It's so weird to me. I can't say anything like that. They can victim shame this dead guy. But if I victim shame a woman, especially a woman of color, I stand the potential to lose everything I got. Because by proxy, if I lose my job, I lose my house, my livelihood, my cars. All because I victim shamed some lady. But a dead guy can be victim shamed by what we've all seen. Just saying, I mean, I had the videos on here. Our predominantly black women are shaming this white family. And it's okay. And who's going to challenge them? Who's going to say something about it? Who you think going to say something about it? Nobody with a real following is going to say anything about it. Because then all the black women boycott their videos and etc. and they'll lose their money. That's always what happens. They know how to take your money. Everybody, people in general, when they get mad, know how to take your money. So I'm not ragging on black women. I don't want to rag on black women. I'm just telling the truth. If somebody that has a whole lot to lose actually says anything that has a public platform, they'll lose a lot of support. A whole lot of support. These black women will boycott it. They'll share it all online and repost it and reshare it. And even if some people agree with what the commentator is saying, women stick together. Right or wrong, they stick together. Especially if there's a man on the other end of the stick. They seem to hate men very much these days. They always say men hate women. They seem to hate men very much these days. Not all, of course. Y'all please remember, I speak in generality, so I'm not saying all. When I say women when I say black women, when I say black people, I obviously don't mean all. And if that's not obvious, let me state for the record, I don't mean all. If you thought I meant all, you're pretty stupid. And I don't make no apologies for calling you stupid, but I don't mean all. This lady said victim shaming this guy. A dead guy.
Dumb shit. That the only reason why I'm not.
A woman gets SA'd, allegedly gets SA'd. They be lying a lot too. They allegedly get SA'd. And if you say, well, what did she do? What was she wearing? Did she lead the guy on? Don't victim shame her. She's a victim. You can't even ask those questions.
Under the jail or dead is because I had angels watching me. So to think that this young man made this decision and now this mom is going home to never see her son again of the free world just blows my mind.
He made a decision that took a kid from another family, and now their mom went home and can never see their son again. I don't even want to watch anymore what she has to say. She's just way too stupid, and I'm just losing brain cells listening to this idiot. She's like absolutely stupid.
Justified. Yeah, he overreacted.
Karmelo Anthony was just found guilty in the trial, and
Dang, she cute. I don't really care for those umbrellas she got on her face. Those umbrellas look hella stupid, but she cute outside of that.
and y'all already know what I'm talking about. And I just knew it. I knew it, and I got a filter on because I look a mess. I'm not surprised.
Well, she got braces too. I find that kind of cute. I ain't gonna lie.
I knew he was gonna be found guilty. Of course, he's a young black man who unalived a white, not even a man, a young black boy who unalived a white boy, a bully with a twin brother for a bully as well. But on top of that, the family of Austin Metcalf, whatever your name is.
So they just gonna insult him. Just gonna insult the dead. Just gonna insult the dead. And she's all right doing it. Nothing's gonna happen to her. No one's gonna boycott. Because men don't stick together, so men are definitely ain't gonna do nothing about it. They just want to get in their pants. No one's going to boycott, and women stick together, so a woman's not going to say, this is beyond the pale. No one's going to do anything about it. Of course, she's protected.
Young man, they are friends with the judge. I knew this was going to happen. My stuff.
Why did they continue to lie and just spread all this misinformation? Like they were saying there was a video.
So that's another rumor going around. The judge is friends with the family. I don't know how true that is. I just know it's some weird rumor going around online that's circulating on Black Twitter and Black Facebook. You know, one person puts the lie out there and everybody runs with it without doing any research. They just say, oh, that guy said it, so it's true. And they start sharing the same lie. Stupid. Like pea-brain.
It shows that a bunch of people jumped Karmelo that day. Yeah. Now she's saying that the judge is friends with the Metcalf family. I mean, why are they lying like this?
Yeah, it doesn't make it, even if that's true, which is not. But even if that's true, the judge is not the jury.
Make hurt. Like I knew this. Like I know Karmelo. Like I just knew this was gonna happen. The streets is about to be jumping. Let me tell y'all something. They done listen. I don't know nothing. I don't know nobody. I don't know nothing. All I gotta say is it's about to go down. So what's that man named Mr. Child? He gets off.
Here we go. The whataboutism. What about the Asian guy that killed the black guy? What about the Asian guy that killed the black guy? What about him? He's not Karmelo. And the black kid that got killed is not Austin Metcalf. They're in a different county, different jurors, different circumstances. The kid that got killed had a gun on him. Austin Metcalf doesn't reportedly have a weapon on him at all. Different circumstances. Some of y'all too stupid to understand that. Way too stupid.
Unaliving someone that was running, a boy that was running, a black boy that was running from the store. But Karmelo Anthony gets chased and defends himself against bullies, and he is found guilty. I knew it.
Defends himself against bullies. Yeah, now we're gonna change the definition of bully to fit the narrative that we want to share. Yeah, man, this is all a bunch of trash. It's 7:44. I don't know that we're getting we're clearly probably not going to get the sentencing today. I don't know that any news has come out about if the jury has been ordered to do sentencing today. I know there have been first, let me see. All right. Let me see. This one there. Let's find it real quick. Trying to see if I can get the mom. So I see the mom made a statement, begged the jury or something. I'm trying to see. Is that the mom? I'm trying to see real quick. He said something about the mom had begged the jury, I guess, in their sentencing. But I can't find it. Let's see if I can find one from today. Self-defense. Let me see here.
In there. Let me start off by talking about where we are right now, and then we'll go back to where we started this day, which is, I don't think anybody imagined this morning we would be at this point in the trial right now. It's moved at just lightning pace. The judge at this moment is working on a charge to the jury, otherwise known as the jury instructions, which will be read to the jury to determine sentencing. Now that he's already been found guilty, there's another trial right afterward called the sentencing trial or punishment phase, and that involves opening statements, witnesses, closing arguments. A lot of that's been taken off the table by both sides, prosecution and defense. So the judge is going to read the instructions. We still expect to hear closing arguments from the prosecution and the defense, who are hopefully trying to, argue for a mitigated sentence for Karmelo Anthony. We don't know at that point. We don't know what prosecutors are going to ask for at this point. But once that happens, the jury will go right back into their room and they will start deliberating a sentence, which means we could have his guilt or innocence verdict today and his sentencing today. If they don't reach a decision tonight, they will be sequestered and they'll start up again tomorrow. Now, earlier today, I think we have some courtroom sketches to show you what actually transpired, but we had closing arguments in this case, and both sides gave the jury their best argument for why they should either convict or acquit Karmelo Anthony. The prosecution, of course, argued that Karmelo Anthony had no right to be at that tent underneath the bleachers or in the bleachers at Kirkendall Stadium in Frisco. They said that that Karmelo provoked the attack and that witnesses backed up the story. Defense attorneys on their side said that Austin was the aggressor. Karmelo had a legal right to the knife and that he acted in self-defense. Now, the jury went back to deliberate at around 11 a.m. this morning. We didn't know how long they'd take. We certainly were surprised. We got a text message at 1:45 saying they've got a verdict and to be in the courtroom at 2:05. We go into the courtroom, and at that point, you could feel the tension in there. Everybody was in there, not only Karmelo Anthony's family, Austin Metcalf's family, but Hunter Metcalf, Austin's twin brother, who's been on the witness list, not allowed in the courtroom at all, was inside the courtroom. Karmelo's attorney had his head on his client's forehead. They were in deep discussion quietly. He had his hand on his shoulder. Clearly, Karmelo was not he was in an agitated or anguished mind state at this point. The judge read the verdict of guilty after 2.5 hours. We heard Karmelo break down in sobs. His mother also broke down. The judge then said that, because he's now guilty of murder, he's a convicted murderer, the judge remanded him to the custody of the Collin County Sheriff's Office. They took him back, even though his attorney asked for some time to collect himself. The judge said, no, he's no longer a free man. And they brought him back in after about 5 or 10 minutes, started the sentencing phase, and both sides moved at lightning pace.
Man, that is sad. Like I said, I like to be objective, man. I'm sad for both, man. For real. Like, It's sad what happened to Austin. You know, and his family, like they're the real ones that lose out on this. There's no amount of justice that could bring your loved one back to you, especially when they were taken away in a manner like that. There's just nothing that could be done, man. So that's really sad. And it's sad that watch your son get taken away in cuffs, and it is what it is. I mean, he's been convicted of murder. Like the decision, I hate the decision. It is what it is. He's been convicted. And there's nothing to really be said about it. You might not like the decision. You might have been rooting for him, but dude has been convicted of murder. He's taken a life away from another family, and that's unfair and it's messed up. And now he's gotta reap the oats that he sowed. It's sad, nevertheless. 19 years old, taken away in cuffs, facing anywhere from 5 to 99 years. I don't know how much time he'll get. As you guys seen, the jury is currently deciding right now. I don't know what time they go home, but they're deciding sentencing. Last I checked, right now they'll be sequestered, which means they can't go home. So if they don't get a verdict tonight, they'll be standing in the hotel, security, no TVs, no phones, none of that. That's hard for people in today's time. Go absolutely nuts without your phone. They can't have any of that. So there'll be a decision on how long he'll be sentenced between today and tomorrow, I imagine. Listen, justice got to be served. I don't want to see him get 5 years. I don't want to see him get 10 years. He needs to get, I don't know what he needs to get, but 5 or 10 years is just too little. I don't think he needs 50 years. I don't think he needs a life. I don't think he needs 99 years, but he might need to do a good 20. When he gets out, he'll still have plenty of life to live. You do 20, you get out to 39. Excuse me. Yeah, you get out to 39. Like you have, and then with good behavior, you probably can cut that down to whatever, 30. Maybe get out to 30. I don't know that 20 years is enough time. By the way, I'm just throwing stuff at the wall right now as I talk. I don't know how much time the dude should get. I don't feel he should get somewhere between 20 25 years minimum. Maximum, I wouldn't say any more than about 30. I mean, I don't think he went to the track meet with the intent of saying, "Where's Austin Metcalf? I want to kill him today," or any particular person. I want to stab somebody today. I don't think he went there with that in mind. I don't know. Only he would know, but I don't think he went there with that. So I don't think anything about it was like super premeditated, but it was malicious. And he did intentionally stab him, and it was malicious. And you got to pay the price for that. People go to jail for worse things. People go to jail for lesser things. People get a whole lot less time for more things. People get, I don't know how much time he's going to get, but there are some people that commit gruesome murders and only get 30 years. I like to see him somewhere between 20 and 30 years. You got a 39, you got plenty of life to live. You got a 49, you probably still got plenty of life to live. This is all assuming the Most High doesn't call you home, what we would call prematurely, of course. But on paper, you got plenty of life to live getting out of 39 years old, and you're still relatively young. So he get 20, I want to see him do all of the 20. But it's not for me to decide. What I don't want to see is 5, 10, 15 years. I think that's a slap on the wrist. 20 might even be a little bit too soft, but, especially for taking a life. But I don't think his intent was to kill the guy. But he did. You got to pay for it. Anyways, folks, if they drop the sentencing tonight, if I feel like getting back on, I'll get on. I don't know if I'm going to feel like getting on because I got to cook and I'm hungry. Got some work stuff to do, too. So if they drop it tonight, then we'll may cover it tomorrow. But anyways, thanks to those who did rock with me. Thanks to those who did check it out. And those that will, drop a comment, like the video. Don't forget, like the video. Comment, drop an emoji in the comment section, and share the stream. Until next time, guys, I'll see y'all. And man, y'all pray for America, pray for Karmelo. Most certainly pray for Austin Metcalf and his family. And pray for the condition of our people. We can't fix something we don't see. Black people indeed have been the perpetuators of racism for a long time now. At least the last 15 years or so, we've been on a racism high. Black people can indeed be racist. If George Zimmerman can be racist against Trayvon Martin, which a lot of y'all said he was, and he's a minority, Black people can indeed be racist. Y'all can be hypocrites if y'all want to. Y'all can be hypocrites if y'all want to, but I'm telling the truth. Y'all hypocrite, you just liars if you're hypocrite. And stupid as all get out. On that note,